sur l'enfant de...
Hi guys, how are you? Good? Yeah? So let's start with a game. Do you know what two things we have in common? Anyone? We have in common with Alim, me, and you. Product manager, right. And the second thing we have in common is that we haven't learned, product management in school. Right, it's crazy. Like developers, designers, they learn in school. Product manager. So that's why we created Meraki, to offer education in product management. And if you look in Silicon Valley, where it has been created, you have many schools, like many product schools. You have like 10. In London, they have like 5. And guess in Paris? Nothing, exactly. It's crazy. So that's why we decided to create Meraki in Paris to offer product education. Why? The other thing is we want to make product management education accessible. When I was last summer in San Francisco, product school was very expensive. And in France, we are used to have free education. So for us, education should be accessible. So what is Meraki? At Meraki, we really want to create the next generation of product manager, because for us, it's critical now to have in startup product manager. So only for the video, not you guys, if some people wonder, okay, but what it is product manager? What do they do? So just a quick reminder. So as a product manager, you are here. So you are kind of alchemist between the designer, the tech, and the business. You are the one who is there to remember the why we do that. You are the one to create the product strategy, to prioritize, and to make the execution goes right. So to build the right things at the right time for the right people. And at the end, you have to communicate, and this is a hard job, because you have to really be kind of a translator between all those languages. A designer will not interact like a developer or someone from marketing. So as a product manager, you really need to have a good translator, to understand each person and to articulate things and to make the execution good. So usually I always have this question. So for one time I put it on slide. What is the differences between product manager and product owner? So in France, there is a misconception about that role. So just a quick reminder for you guys. So product manager, it comes from Procter & Gamble. So it's an old role. It's a job. And the goal at the beginning, it was to be the brand man. So you really, they were here to really represent the brand. And then it shifted to tech company, and it's become the customer voice. So you have to represent what customer wants in front of your dev team as a product manager in tech company. Then, as a product manager, you are here to help company to set the vision, why we build that. Is it valuable for our product, our customer? And then you have to establish all the strategy and to decide how we will go to the market, what will be the next feature our customer needs, etc. And you have to to do that all through the life cycle of a product. While if you are a product owner, first, it's not a job, it's a role. It has been created in 2000, so way later, with the Agile Manifesto. And it's a role with your dev team. So that means you are the value maximizer for this team. And your responsibility is to manage the product backlog. Way different. So, to come back to Meraki, how we will enable people to become product manager. We have decided to tackle this issue with 3 services. So the first one is training, the second is coaching, and the last one, but really important, it's recruiting. So let's see for the training. So as I told you earlier, in Paris there was last year, there was no product school. So that's why with Meraki, we launched in 3 weeks, now I can say it. we launched it in 3 weeks at Lyon, a boot camp in 1 month to learn how to become a product owner. Why we launched it in 1 month? Because you need to create a real habit, you need 21 days. So that's why we were thinking, like, it's not a 2 days boot camp, it's really in 1 month, because you need to change your mindset and to have a growth mindset. Then we base all the boot camp on the experience. So Mohamed can tell you, yeah, it's a lot of experiences. And we offer to the students to have a design sprint and to really be a product owner during 1 month and to discover each responsibility you have. So it starts with first find a problem and a real problem. So like if you have 1 hour, you really need to spend 55 minutes on the problem. And then we started with user research. So we ask our students to go on the streets and ask people what they think, and then they realize sometimes they interpret things. Yeah, they really need it, and when they come back, they were like, yeah, no, he doesn't care. So first realize there is a difference between what you think and what people really need. After that, they have to design a wireframe, so they have to interact with designer. Then they met the developer, so it's a big moment for them. They discover what is a sprint planning, so they come with a user story. They discover why their user story are not completed, and they understand what is the expectation of the developers. And it's really important because this is real life. At the end, we ask our students at every courses to have a feedback. So we have created a feedback loop, and each time when it was good or wrong, each time for the next classes, we integrate it. So sometimes they told us, no, this one, for me, I need more exercise, I need more homework. That was a big surprise for me. So we add more homework. And that's why it's like we did the product manager job in this training. And at the end, I can tell you now what is the secret sauce in comparison to the other school. The first thing we really did well, I think, and Mohamed can tell you as well, it's to have all the best product manager of the Parisian ecosystem. So as a teacher, you have like a mano user researcher, you have Clément, who is here, for the user story, and the badass product manager. We have Rémi, so you can see him. Rémi is the VP product of BlaBlaCar. And what was really important is to share real moments. So you can see it's a lunch. You can share all the trips, the tips. It's not a formal moment. And then you can create your network of product manager. So after that, we decided, and I have a big news for you tonight, we decided to create a free product school since in September. So tell your brother and sister, it will be free for people who have like 18 years old to 23 years old. And we have decided to make product management accessible to anyone. So the second services, it's coaching. So we decided to create, we call it CPO as a service. So it's kind of a menu. Why? Because each startup has really different problem. So I choose, for example, 3 examples. So I'm super happy because tonight we have Women 10. And so we are CPO as a service in Women 10 right now. And their issue is to create a product organization for the Series A. So it's a bit important. They just raised 8 million. So we start from scratch. There was nearly no one on products. So we have to create first with all the stakeholders to explain them what is product management and why it is so important for their startup to create the right feature for their user. Then another example is kimono. So you know they are here, it's the clothes. So it was totally another problem. It's how to start an e-commerce business. And the last one, it's for millennials, so it's Combini. So I think you know Combini, yes. So Combini, they are launching a new use in the media. So as you can see, CPO as a service, we can help startup from the strategy up to the specification. And as well, what is really important is to diffuse all the product culture. That means like we are not just coming in the startup and leaving. Like we train people to understand why product management is so important, and we try to articulate all the startup with the products. And the last services, so it's recruitment. Why? Because in those startups, they really are looking for the right product manager. And I can tell you it's very hard. So for example, Women 10, they are looking for a new product manager. And it's really hard because you have a specific context. You have already a team in place. You have a culture. So you need to fit that culture. And you need as well to challenge all the CEO and COO. I see Jade. So she's looking for a PM. And you need to fit. So that's why even if you have interview and you are not selected, don't worry. Sometimes it's just about context. And I have a lot of product managers who ask me, oh, I wish to work for each, or I wish to work for BlaBlaCar. So at Meraki, we tried to help those people to meet. So after 3 months, we launched Meraki. I can tell you 5 learning so far to finish. So the first one is really to learn continuously. So when I created the first product track, it was only designed for product people who have never been in product. So I call them baby product, baby PO. And at the end of the day, when I arrive into the classes, Mohamed knows, half of my classes were middle product owner. So I was like, okay, I create something for non-experienced people, and at the end of the day, middle product owners, they really want to learn framework, they want to learn more from peer, etc. So I change a bit the product track, and I include a lot of more framework and I level up all the batch. The second thing is in a startup, a lot of people, a lot of CEO talk to you like, yeah, I need someone to talk with my user, I don't have time, my CTO does the job really well, but he doesn't have time, etc., etc. So yeah, okay, it's product management, but they don't know that's product management, so they just don't know the name, but they are able to identify the responsibility. So we really need to teach CEO, okay, product management, it's a real job. And all the responsibility you have, and look, you can meet a really good product manager in Paris. So that's why on the third point, I put don't give a fish, teach him how to fish. So it was exactly the example at Women 10, when Jade told me, yes, we have a lot of problem with the product, sometimes we don't know where to start, etc. It's typical startup issue. What we do next, because they have so many things, how to know, how to prioritize. And the idea when I start with Women 10, it was not just to give fish and leave them. It was really to learn them how to fish, how to build a good product, how to build a product your customers are going to love. The last one is PM wonder the same question anywhere. So it was in the product track. We have a talk with BlaBlaCar and Benjamin Retourné, who is the head of BlaBlaCar Pro. Told me, yeah, you know, we, like all product manager, we went to Silicon Valley, we asked many questions, how they do that, etc., etc. And at the end of the day, and I did the same with Alim, I asked him so many questions, and at the end of the day, we have the same question. So don't believe like Silicon Valley, they all have the answer, and yes, they have like a lot of experience, and they know the job since maybe 10 years more than us. But at the end of the day, we are not that bad, guys. And the last one, I would like to present you what I learned at the end of a product track. Yes, I learned as well in the bootcamp. It was to become a T-shaped product manager. So that's really mean to learn continuously. And to be able to learn new job. Like for example, the last one I learned was growth hacking, and I think now as a product manager you have to learn a lot of the other jobs to understand how to interact with them. So I show you the T shape. So the T is all the discipline you have to discover. So like marketing, design, growth, human resource, etc., corporate culture. And then, so on the this one, it's really, you need to have to be the expert of the product. So I think, guys, if you really want to progress, to improve in the job, be a T-shaped product manager. Voilà. And to finish, I would like to say thank you and Meraki. Meraki in Greek, it means to do your job with all your creativity, all your soul, and all your love. And I wish you that. Thank you. So if you have any question. Vous êtes trop sage, c'est pas normal.
Okay. Yeah, it's good. It's working. My first question is the question of the product. Like the main question every product asks is why? Why did you personally launch Meraki? Why did you launch Meraki?
Meraki, I launched it, so I went to San Francisco, to Canada, And when I arrived, I met a lot of product manager. So in San Francisco, it's crazy because like you met Oculus, Airbnb, like it's next door product managers. They are so easy to meet. And I discover what a product school, and I discover many bootcamp, and I was like, oh my God, we have nothing in Paris. And like I have been product manager since 7 years, and I have never learned it in school or in bootcamp. And I was thinking, wow, if we have that in France, I can reduce 2 years you can learn in 1 month, 2 years, really, like avoid the main mistakes. And when I worked at Shopify, I was really lucky. I met Brandon Chu, who is a really good product manager, and I talked with him, and he told me, oh, you know, Barbara, outside Silicon Valley, there is no education on product manager. And I was like, yeah, it's right, we have nothing in Paris. And in Toronto, he told me, yeah, they start, but it's not easy, in fact, to have a good education. And when I come back to Paris, I was already teacher at Lyon, and so I asked the family, hey guys, they have done a super education in San Francisco, why we don't try to localize that in France? Like, I mean, we have to integrate all our contexts. We don't have all those product managers who succeed in Facebook, Shopify, or Uber, etc. Because even in France, they don't have a really product manager. So we really need to use our best PM from the ecosystem, like Rémi from BlaBlaCar, like the real French success, to create our own education. And I think we should be really proud of that. We are creating a new way to educate.
All right, thanks.
Thanks.
So I have a question. So you've met so many product managers throughout your career, and my question is, what did you notice was the most common problem that product managers face?
If I listen, I leave meeting. Too many meetings. In Shopify, it was, I think it was the same. Too many meetings, and we have an issue with the time. When you are all over the world, it's difficult to have everyone at the same time. When you are a remote product manager, and I think, the biggest issue is just to have time to do your job, because you have so many people who ask you questions, you have meetings, and then you need to work, you have ceremonies, and then you need to really do the job. So I would say time and meeting.
We agree.
If you mind, I'll ask a question before, if you mind.
Yes, Stéphane.
So the point number 2 was to say that you intend to teach CEOs and have them be better at understanding what product means. What does it take to teach a CEO to understand product?
It's long time. Like they need to, in fact, usually the CEO is the guy who has the idea at the beginning. So he should understand quickly what does it mean to talk to your customer, because at the beginning of his startup, he did it. It just at some stage, you have to give someone else this responsibility. And sometimes it's hard, because when it's something like it's your gut, so how to trust someone who will be passionate as you. But I think once they trust a PM, and we can talk to that with Women 10. We have the CEO of Women 10. And once they got it, like, yes, we need someone full-time on that, and we trust this person, it works. I think it's time, and help them to to discover as well the job, because a lot of CEOs, they don't know what do you do, like and even sometime I heard it last week. It was the ex-CEO of aufeminin.com, so it's big in France, and she told me, yeah, for me, product manager, like 5 years ago, it was un passe-plat. I was like, okay, so you are useless. So then I explained to her, yeah, but in fact, we are not a passe-plat for CTO. In fact, the CTO, he does how to develop the product, and the product manager, he will do the why, and is it valuable by the customer? And so he should give him what to do next. Ah, okay, I understand now. But nobody told me that. So I think it's a lack of education. And once you show them, like a PM, he has it's a real job, and you create value, they got it. Any question? Yeah.
Yes, me. Thank you for this talk. I'm really happy to see that here in Paris now we take this issue very seriously, not having a product school. So now here is my question. What is your background and how do you become a product manager?
Okay, thank you for this question. It's a great question. I will tell you, like all the PM in France, hasard. So I started as a product manager 7 years ago, and it was pure hazard. I come back from Ireland. I was doing finance. And when I come back, I really want to work in innovation. And everybody told me, Barbara, you need to be an engineer. Barbara, you need to do to code. Barbara, you need you don't have the right background. Okay. And I met a super open innovation director at We SNCF. We SNCF, it's really a tech company, believe me. So they are the first one in e-commerce for the travel. And they told me at the beginning, yeah, you will be innovation consultant, chef de projet consultant. Okay. And 2 months after, they told me, oh, we are implemented agile, so you will become the product owner. We have a new project. It's a big data, machine learning, and we are building a predictive ticket train. And if it works, we will industrialize it. And like 2 years after, so we were like 4 people. And 2 years after, we were like the first feature team of We SNCF, and we were 15. And I have 12 products to manage. So I become a product manager. And after this experience at We SNCF, so it's a traditional e-commerce experience, I met an entrepreneur who is deaf. And he created the first phone for deaf people. So you can tell me, yeah, but why you do that? My mother is deaf, so she never called. I was the only one for her to make phone call. So sometimes it's a nightmare. Imagine you have to go to the hospital when people they ask you, okay, who we called? Nobody. So you have a tricky situation, and even for her, she was not able to call a doctor, to call a friend. So you can imagine how excluded you are if you can not make phone call. And so the guy told me, okay, I just want you to work with me. So I became the CPO at Roger Voice. And after 2 years, so we won the first French relay services, so in France, and we became the first mobile application for deaf people to make phone call, and now my mother calls me every day. So I think it was a useful product. And thank you. And last year, like 1 year ago nearly, I was on stage to explain what is Roger Voice and how important it is to make a product that is meaningful for people. And in the product conf, there was Shopify, and they started to ask me, please work for us in Canada, etc. So for me, like as a child, I reached my mission. My mother, she doesn't need me anymore. She has her phone, her friend, it's okay. And as a woman in tech, for me, it was a dream to work for a unicorn in Canada. So that's why I left France and I went to Canada. And it's in that moment I met Alim at Facebook startup, and he helped me to prepare my interview because the interviews are really different in France and in North America. I mean, like it's like a prépa. You really have a specific question. And after 7 interviews, I succeed. So I succeed at Shopify, and I start to localize Shopify for France. And while I was in Canada and I discover all the education in North America, I was thinking, oh, we need that in France. And then when I start Meraki, so it was in January, I was a country manager at Shopify. And every night, so I did the classes. And at the end, I was really transparent with my students. And at the end of the batch, the first batch, I told them, okay, I have a déclic. I really feel something I want to teach. And I think I have a bigger impact when I teach product management than to do localization for great products. So that's why I started Meraki.
Okay, thank you for this beautiful story.
Merci. So now I'm thrilled to welcome Alim Madi. Ah, yes, sorry. After that, you can join the community. So on Wise, it's like a Stack Overflow. So anyone can ask product question.
Que la famille.